This is a Kirkendall Barrett presentation, darling.
Feed me, meow, meow, meow.
Because of this podcast, I'm a gay icon.
I'm so hot. I'm so good looking. My salad dressing is amazing.
Like the internet at large, there are things you can do on the internet besides porn, but most of it's porn.
A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about your favorite movies on both Lifetime and Hallmark and try to make sense of them. I am Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
So, we watched this movie, and Kurt is a little concerned that the comments are going to have negative effects on Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, but I was also told not to hold back.
Yeah, please don't.
Please don't. I think Lindsay Lohan is fine. I think she's heard worse.
I also think Lindsay, the reason she doesn't live in the States anymore, and the reason she stepped out of being so much in the spotlight is if you're away from it, you don't have to hear the noise.
Right. Now, I would love it. I would love it if someone did tell Lindsay about this podcast and Lindsay was so upset that she'd want to come on this podcast to defend herself. I'd be that.
I don't think she has to defend herself. She's doing just fine.
No.
She has a big movie on Netflix right now.
But if she wants to come on and tell us how to fuck off on the show,
can.
I'd be all for it.
She has every right to.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is her fault.
Oh no.
This movie is what it is.
Well, this
it's
is
also my personal
like,
taste.
She has a 3-picture deal with Netflix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes.
So I think she has one more movie after this.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if that last movie was part of the deal. I think Irish Wish might be the first one in the deal.
Because the last movie wasn't not Irish Wish, but the Christmas one, that wasn't bad actually.
I didn't think this was bad. I just didn't think it was good.
Well, I mean, you know me. See, I'm the wrong person to ask because I love Ireland. I love Irish men. So for me, it was like eye candy city, this movie.
Yeah, I saw stuff you guys would like. But there was an episode a couple weeks ago where Fergie, like the Queen Fergie, whatever was princess,
yes.
she
Sarah
did an acting
Ferguson.
part. Sarah Ferguson, yeah. And I said she wasn't that bad. And then Jason said she wasn't that good. And now the tables have switched because now you're saying this wasn't that bad. I'm saying it wasn't that good.
Oh, I agree with you. It wasn't that good. This wasn't that bad.
I know we've seen worse.
Or Fergie, she's probably in rehab now because of her show.
Fergie's busy trying to they're all trying to get their story straight about where Kate Middleton is.
Yeah,
I don't even understand the story. What happened? There's a photo that was photoshopped. That's what happened.
Yeah, can I, because I don't know if I fully understand it either, but I want to give what I believe is the story, is that early in the year, Kate Middleton was hospitalized for some sort of medical emergency. Buckingham Palace has been very radio silent about what that was. Right. She hasn't been seen anywhere, so a lot of people think that, maybe this is much more severe and they don't want anyone to know about it. Everyone's asking, no one's seen Kate. So then last week, photo comes out. It is very, very, very clearly doctored to make it look like she's there with her kids. So then she puts out a statement saying, yeah, sometimes I use filters and things, and I went a little overboard with this photo.
Right.
That was quote unquote officially from her. And now today she was spotted carrying a bag.
Oh, a bag?
Yeah, she's out in the public.
Here's the deal.
There's a rumor she died.
Was her face turned towards the camera or no?
His profile.
Because my husband is British, so this news is in my house 24/7. So basically what happened is, and Jason, you were right. So basically what happened is Princess Kate had a surgery. But when she had her surgery, when she went in to have the surgery, it was announced that she was not going to be seen in public until after Easter, which is at the end of this month. But people at the same time got freaked out because they hadn't seen her in a while. And so this was also on the heels of the rumor coming out that Prince William not only has a mistress, but the rumor is that the mistress is pregnant.
Ooh, I didn't even hear this.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is why people are sleuthing. And yes, they did it, the Photoshop thing was totally on point as well. That was like, a bad Photoshop. But how they're imploding is because, like, one of their things was always never complain, never explain. But now they're messing up because they're trying to explain and they're not explaining well.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
How could you have a mistress if all eyes are on you all the time? You can't do that these days.
Prince Charles did it.
Camilla Parker Bowles.
Yeah.
But you're going back years, though.
But she was out, like, that was like I think it's one of these deals where it's like an open secret sort of a thing.
Yeah, I think it's that thing of it's an open secret, and if this were any other marriage, the wife would be like, F off, but because she's in line to be the Queen of England, she's like, okay, I'll bite my tongue about this, but we need to have a talk.
Even though Diana was like, F off.
Yeah.
And she,
Yeah.
Sessions. Huh.
So the story is also that the rumor is that they have like what do you call it, fake Kates.
Yeah.
So like the one picture where she was seen in the car, yes, she was seen in the car, but the face wasn't looking towards the camera, so the rumor was that was a fake Kate.
And what's the one you said?
Now, with the side profile, I'm sure the rumor is probably going to come out that it was a fake Kate, because unless she's looking at the camera,
but
you don't know for sure.
Would you say she was carrying a bag, like a paper bag?
Yeah, today it was like a candid video of her and William walking along outside, and it looked like she had a bag. But what I thought was funny about that is, like, they're the royal family. Are they really going to, like, Trader Joe's and picking up some things on their own and carrying it?
Yeah.
That seemed weird to me.
Another part of that, Jason, is like, see, look, we're just like you.
Yeah.
We're normal.
I thought you meant she had a bag over her head, like the unknown comic.
No,
Murray
I said
Langston.
carrying a bag. I did not say a bag on the head.
Oh, not like the unknown comic Murray Langston of the Gong Show fame?
No.
Okay, well, that resolves that.
So
I know that people confuse Kate Middleton with Murray Langston a lot.
Right.
But that did not happen here.
I put in a lot of time Googling who the unknown comic was. I got to get that in. Now, how was the picture Photoshop? Was like her face was put on another body, or what?
Her hands.
The hands looked real weird. Didn't she have like an extra finger or something weird like that?
Yeah, and they
She did? Oh boy. That's cool. I like to have an extra finger.
So I do think, I didn't know if the mistress is pregnant, but I do think he totally has a mistress.
Wear rubber.
Well, if
you're in the royal family, that's what you should do.
So yeah, I didn't know if she's pregnant or not, but I'm sure I bet he does have a mistress.
I could be an advisor. I could be an advisor for the royal family.
Right. But you need a PR advisor.
I might be good at that.
I heard some podcasts talking about this, and people that follow this stuff way closer than I do. And what they pointed out that was pretty stunning is that the royal family, all they do, like the whole reason for their press team to exist is to lie to the press and give them, misdirect them. So how are they so bad at this?
Yeah. Yeah. And then someone said that. So Meghan Markle came out with something today, like making jam or something, like a jam brand or something. Ooh. And what they're saying now is the reason why she's doing that is she's actually doing that to be nice, to kind of take the heat off of Kate, because then once she gets in the news cycle, then they all go after her.
She's showing people how to make jam?
She's coming out with a brand of jam.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
I'm not much of a jam person, but Kurt, I'm sure you eat it.
Well, I'm happy with generic store brand. I don't need Meghan Markle brand.
Well, I don't know. You don't know how good it is?
Maybe.
Right.
I do pay for quality.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Like, you know, maybe she makes it in her Montecito kitchen.
Yeah, I'm gonna have an open mind about that.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So, well, see, she's successful. It distracted us from the other situation. Now we're talking about her jam. She did served her purpose.
See.
I am happy to report that I give zero fucks about either story.
You know who else serves a purpose? Kurt, do you have any Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
The Blac Chyna Report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Wait till you hear this story.
Oh.
All right, this is from dfa.co.za. What's that, New Zealand? I think it might be Africa. Some South African newspaper. Okay. So the headline is Blac Chyna's mother accuses Tyla of joining the Illuminati.
Who, Tyla? Who's Tyla?
I don't know. I think we're going to find out. All right. So the 3-hour-long interview by Real Light Productions aired on YouTube recently. And since then, clips have been making the rounds on social media platforms X and TikTok. A Grammy-winning singer and songwriter, Tyla, has been accused of joining Hollywood's secret society, the Illuminati. The damaging accusations were made during an interview with Blac Chyna's mother. Toni Tokyo, whose real name is Shalina Hunter, I don't think I've heard her real name, was talking about Hollywood celebrities that she allegedly regards as being part of the Illuminati. She mentioned that the most recent industry plants were rapper Ice Spice and our homegirl Tyla.
Ice Spice.
The 3-hour-long interview by Real Life Productions titled "Sweet Stars" aired on YouTube recently, and since clips have been making, they just said that. All right, so Tokyo divulged a lot of sensitive information, including she knows. They have quotes. Knows. She knows as a part of society how the organizations get people to join and what they offer. What sparked mixed reactions in Zanzi, though, was when she mentioned that Water singer Tyla had just won her first Grammy, had sold her soul for the fame. So she was singing the song Water. I've never heard this before, but she's singing Plant, 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 give her until February next year, Cold-Blooded Freak, Turned Inside Out, one song gave you a Grammy, but you got people like Angie Stone, who's been around since I was 10 years old, never got one. How is that possible? You walk in, the song is still on the effing radio, and you got a Grammy? How do you do that? How do you get that? How do they even do an audit on it? No, you can't. That's crazy, says Tokyo. Tyla's fans have come to the singer's defense, saying that they just smell jealousy, while most other social media users believe that Tokyo may have a point. At Nerd Zulu commented, Tyla's rise is suspicious, though. And at Kiketso Laluane wrote, I have never heard Tyla's song play anywhere in South Africa. This is a South African publication, apparently. I'll just read this last one. At Tabilo_Lyco wrote, Tyla signed a big deal with a major record label. That's how it takes to be successful in the music industry. Talent alone is not enough. This is all over the place. So that's that. I guess it's a tangential Blac Chyna story. We're focusing on Tokyo Toni.
I have never in my life been more confused than I am right now in this moment. What the fuck was that?
Now, Jason, have you heard of Tyla?
I feel like I've heard about her here on this show, but I don't know that song. I don't.
Or
don't know
Tyla or Tyga?
Tyla. This was Tyla. Tokyo Toni is saying that Tyla, who just recently apparently won a Grammy,
Okay,
she's
so
saying that she's won this. Oh, she's in the
when it comes to
Illuminati.
Ice Spice.
I know who
all
Ice Spice
I've seen
is.
Ice Spice do. I've seen Ice Spice be in a bunch of Dunkin' Donuts commercials.
Yeah.
And have a wig like Annie.
Yeah.
I don't think that's Illuminati behavior.
Right. I see that. Yeah. Look, this is an article from, it says DFA. It looks like it's from South Africa, this article.
Oh, and the singer is South
Alyssa
African.
Berjali.
Tyla is South African as well.
Okay. So that's what's going on. So we don't take responsibility for this. You're just reporting.
I don't think the Illuminati would approve of a Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
I don't know what the Illuminati approves of.
Or an Annie wig.
No.
Now, if you said like Beyonce or someone like that, I'd be like, well, okay, I could see how you would think that. But Little Orphan Ice Spice, I don't see that.
No, we don't necessarily think this is real. And the article, I got to zoom in on.
Like if she would have even said Taylor Swift, because Ice Spice has been hanging out with Taylor Swift. Mm-hmm. Like if she said Taylor Swift, I'd be like, okay, you know what? Tell me more, I'll bite. You know?
Yeah. Not a convincing article, I guess.
No.
All right.
All right. I mean, I have been fascinated with Illuminati stories for years.
Oh, okay.
But not like Ice Spice. That doesn't strike me as, you know.
All that. Anytime I hear mention of Illuminati, like I used to work for a radio show called Coast to Coast AM, and
did you really?
Yeah, for a couple of years. Yeah, I worked on it after Art Bell was there, but he would sometimes fill in. So it was like George Norrie was the main host. I worked with another host named George Knapp. A couple other guys too, but you know, all the callers for that show, because the show airs overnights across the nation, and every call was bonkers. Every single call was bonkers.
Were you on the air?
No, I was just the producer in the studio running the audio and stuff, but like I would have to call the guests hey, are you ready to go? Like, and it was weird because George Norrie, who hosts the show, still does. He's in St. Louis half the year, so most of the nights he's not even in LA. But sometimes they have guests come in. So like one day, John Fogerty shows up, and I'm just like sitting in a studio with John Fogerty for an hour randomly.
Okay.
Yeah. And like Dan Aykroyd was a frequent guest on the show because he's big into UFOs and stuff. Yeah. And a frequent guest back in the day was a pre-mega conspiracy theorist, Alex Jones. Wow. So somewhere buried in my email, I have his phone number. Ugh.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Did you get to hang out with Dan Aykroyd, though, in the studio?
I never met Dan, no.
Oh.
But I did meet Steve Harvey. Because Steve Harvey did a show for Premier Radio as well, and so there'd be times where he'd be in LA to do a show, but because his show's normally on the East Coast time, he would get in really early, which is late at night. So he would bring in an entire posse, and they'd be in our break room, and he has like somebody in there. Oh, they're all dressed up in suits, his entire team, and he brings in a cook who makes them all breakfast. So we had they brought in hot plates and stuff to actually make food in our break room.
Think like a man.
Yeah. No, damn, walking down the hall, I look in the next room, I'm like, oh, that's Al Sharpton sitting there.
Like, oh, hey, Al.
Yeah.
That's great. I used to love Art Bell. Oh my God. That's funny. That's Tyla.
They got that show with Steve Harvey where he's a judge. This is on prime time. Mm-hmm. It's a prime time network show. He's a judge, Steve Harvey. Yeah. He's so funny. He's just hilarious.
I watched when he talks to the little kids.
I like when he
Like-
gets kind of pissed off too. Like sometimes he's just funny. Like he's funny, but sometimes he's funny, I think maybe without even realizing he's funny. Like he just gets pissed off at people and it's funny.
Right. Well, speaking of pissed off, let's talk about the movie that apparently has pissed the nation off.
Yeah.
People are pissed about this movie.
I don't know.
The
Why
Irish
are you mad?
curse.
Irish wish.
The Irish curse.
Yeah, but yeah, like, you know, I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was the abomination that people are like
Well, you
bulbing
read some,
out.
you looked at some reviews, right?
Yes.
No, I
Because
did not.
let me read some of these. Let me read some of
Oh,
these
okay.
titles of these reviews.
Shut off your radio, Lindsay.
Or Lindsay, come in and defend yourself.
Well,
We'll be happy to talk to you.
talk about your
them to go
role
F
in
them.
Machete. Yeah.
Okay, so these are some of the titles of reviews. So one of the reviews says, Irish Wish review, beware of getting what you want. Another title of the review is Irish Wish is a crypto-fascist AI-generated harbinger of doom.
Oh.
Another Irish Wish review, no luck here. And then Kurt Fitzpatrick sent a meme of a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I wasn't going to tell people that because I thought that was a little harsh.
I don't think those headlines are that, except the one calling it crypto fascist, which was just like
Yeah.
very harsh. But the beware of getting what you want or no luck here, those aren't harsh. Again, the movie isn't terrible; it's just not good.
And I thought a lot of that scenery actually was legit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I'll look at a picture book then. I'd rather do that.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm sorry. This movie is really weak.
Because, you know, I've been to Ireland, and Ireland is honestly, genuinely that beautiful.
I hope it's more interesting.
Ireland is that bitch. Ireland is
Whew.
that beautiful, genuinely.
All right, let's see. Maybe I'll change my mind as we go along this. I'll decide I like it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
All right.
The Irish
Okay.
curse.
So we start off with the definition of wish. Now, and as we go on, I do have questions of like some of the motivations.
Okay.
Like you know, we'll get to there. Like, why did this Saint Brigid want to kill James Seymour? Like,
Right. I do have some information on Saint Brigid.
like what did James Seymour do to her? But anyway,
Well, clearly Jane Seymour put her foot down and she's like, "Nope, I'm not going to Ireland to film this thing. You could
Right?
film
Oh,
me
yeah,
in the U.S."
because James Seymour had the Eric Roberts effect.
Yeah, she was not in scenes on screen with any of the characters in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see the definition of wish, then we have a voiceover. Then we are in New York City. And then the music that they were playing, that's the music that I use at the end of my show. My show. So I knew the song and I liked the song. So then we are at a step and repeat. And Lindsay gets out of a taxi and her hair, my first note with Lindsay's hair is fabulous. It's full, it was bouncy, it was curly, but she did have on an ugly scarf.
Did
Yes.
you say it was a step and repeat?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Yes.
that?
Step and repeat is like you see it at red carpets or anytime there's an event and there's like a white wall with like small logos for the thing that you're promoting in the background. And you, when you're standing on the red carpet, you stand in front of that, you step and repeat for another photo, step and repeat for another photo.
I never heard that.
So so then we see this guy getting out of a car in slow motion. Lindsay's gawking at him, and then the taxi drives away. Her scarf is stuck in the door, and she almost did an Isadora Duncan. Now, you guys have heard about Isadora Duncan, right?
I have not.
No.
Isadora Duncan was a dancer in the 20s. And the way that she died was, she was in the car with her boyfriend, a convertible. Her boyfriend's driving down the street, and she stood in the front seat to feel the wind in her hair. And she was wearing a scarf, and the scarf got caught in the wheel, and it snapped her neck.
Oh.
Nope.
So I thought Lindsay with her scarf was going to pull into Isadora Duncan because the cab drove away with her scarf.
They threw a lot of these moments in this movie, and they actually had one in that Christmas movie that she did as well, where they're having Lindsay do all these like wacky pratfalls, and I don't know why they felt they needed to shoehorn that in here.
I didn't realize that she was such a pratfall person.
She wasn't known for that. That's why I think it's weird they're doing it. Like, Lindsay was always considered a good actress and good at comedy. So why are you having her do wacky stuff to like add to the comedy of the movie? Just give her something funny to say.
Yeah.
Not necessary.
So we find out that Lindsay is a book editor, and she edited a book for Paul Kennedy. And so while she's there, before she goes to the step and repeat, she gets a call, and the call is from her mom, the fabulous Miss Jane Seymour.
Now, was she Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman?
She was my co-star.
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Yes, she was.
I was an extra on that show, and I'm full on and in frame.
Really?
For this shot. Yeah.
I wrote a paper in school about that show.
Really?
Maybe it was your episode. Well, yeah, because I had to write. I was taking like a TV class, and I had to write something about an episode, and like that was like the easiest thing for me to get like that night. I guess maybe I waited the night before to write it, and that was on. So it was kind of embarrassing. Someone said, "What'd you write your paper about?" Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
That's amazing. What happened in the episode? There was a baseball game in the one I was in. I was in the crowd.
I might still have the paper somewhere. We should put it up on our Instagram.
That's
Did someone get like a fever or gout or something?
My essay? I don't remember what happened in this show. But it would be funny.
Didn't someone always get a fever on Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman?
I never watched an episode, not even the one I was in.
Well, she was a doctor.
I never watched it either. That was like during like the 90s when I was like, unless the show was had glamorous women with big hair, I didn't watch it.
Well, she was sick, so people either fever or they had maybe whooping cough or some sort of, hairline fracture. They must have, something was going on, I'm sure.
And they wore like Davy Crockett hats and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We had good catering on that set. We literally had lobster tail at lunch.
Oh,
well, there you go.
Yes.
Because Miss Jane Hathaway. Oh my God, I almost called her Jane Hathaway.
No. We don't know what they're
Remember Miss Jane from the Beverly Hillbillies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Miss Jane.
I almost called her Jane Hathaway.
Miss Jane ran for office. Miss Jane ran for office, and then Buddy Epson did some commercials like against her, and he said, "Miss Jane is real liberal."
And was she like, "Right, Chief"?
She was mad.
Go, "Right, Chief."
Man.
Anyway, Miss Jane Seymour is no slouch. I bet you had a lobster tail.
Yeah.
And glass plates.
No, I think there were
like, no paper plates on my
I doubt she paid for that.
I don't know. I don't know if it was paper or plastic or what they used, but I do remember on some shows, if they had a particularly big budget, the union people will get their lunch before the non-union people, and on some sets the union people had like actual plates and the non-union got paper plates. I do remember that.
Yeah, we used to get I was on sets where the union people would get lunch, and then we non-union people get like a box. So you get like a card. At least we got that. You get like a cardboard box of something.
And the union people look and go, "Oh my God, you're eating out of a box."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, so Jane is telling Lindsay, "You need to talk to Paul, and you need to tell him how you feel."
She's
So
ordering
turns
toilet
out-
paper. She's
Yeah.
a school
Pardon?
principal.
Mhm.
School principal, and she's they must be short staffed because she's ordering the toilet paper. She says the kids are stealing the toilet paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did feel like a very pandemic era joke.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right. So Lindsay tells Jane, "No, I haven't talked to him, but I've given him plenty of signs that I'm interested." So then Paul tells Lindsay that he needs to talk to her about something very important. And then her friends show up. We find out that that ugly scarf was actually a loan from her friend Emma. And so her friends show up. And the friends too are like, "Oh, you have a thing for Paul, don't you? You better talk to him." And then Lindsay goes to talk to him, and Paul says, "You know what? You are so amazing. Let's take our relationship to the next level." And so Lindsay gets her hopes up, but he just asks her to work with him on his next book because she's a book editor.
But it's kind of implied that he didn't really write the book. She did the real heavy lifting on it. Her friends imply that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was ghostwriting.
Yeah.
Yes. Without the ghostwriting money.
Yeah.
Right.
Barely even
So-
acknowledged for editing the book.
Yeah. So then Emma, one of Lindsay's friends, Emma, her fake eyelash is being wonky. And so Paul fixes it. And after he fixes her eyelash, they give each other the look.
Yeah.
So then Paul's doing he's doing a reading in a bookstore, and the reading seems like it's boring and that it's going on forever. And
By the way, this
Emma-
was the most glamorous, exciting, high-end book premiere party I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, an author's life, even if you're like a huge name, isn't really that glamorous. Like, they have a step of repeat. He shows up, rolls up in this Mercedes. Everyone's clamoring to get his autograph. It was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would they get excited? Who would they get that excited? Like if John Grisham showed up, or
Even if if it were like someone as big as Grisham, like it's not going to be that kind of a fancy affair, is it? Like that wasn't a bookstore. That was like a nice restaurant, wasn't it?
Because it looked like a movie premiere.
Yeah.
It totally looked like a movie premiere.
I saw Jonathan Franzen at Barnes and Noble one time, and that place was jam packed. I was back near the Tori Spelling books in that place, all the way in the back. So a lot of people will show up to these things.
Oh, back by the Tori Spelling books.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. This was more like a movie.
Yeah,
premiere kind of thing.
they made it seem incredibly glamorous to be an author of a book, which I don't think that it
Yeah.
is.
So
Okay. Well, then they're out afterwards. They're like having a meal, and the flirtation continues.
Mhm.
and he like put his phone number in her book.
Yeah.
In Emma's book.
What if she wanted to sell that on eBay? Now he kind of like ruined it.
Yeah.
Well, no, because didn't it have his phone number in it? So
That's what Kurt's saying. She could have given the phone number away to everyone.
true.
If he just like signed his name, she could have went and sold it on eBay. Instead, he put his phone number on it.
And then all of a sudden they did like a weird time jump.
Oh, I thought you'd like that because it was kind of a montage.
Yeah, but it was just kind of a weird montage though.
That wasn't really a montage.
I mean, it was. They basically there's a something Lindsay says to either Jane Seymour or one of the friends or something about like, oh, they just met. You know, how fast could things move or something like that. And so they wanted to show that like whirlwind romance. Paul and Emma are now engaged.
Yeah.
And not only are they engaged, everybody's in Ireland going to their wedding.
Yeah.
Yep. They're in an airport.
Yeah. So, they're all getting their luggage, and there's a guy on the phone, and he goes to grab his suitcase. But Lindsay goes to grab the suitcase too. And each of them think that suitcase is their suitcase. And they fight over it until the suitcase bursts open, and it turns out to be his suitcase, James.
Yeah.
And she thinks that boxer shorts are like her little skirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, just look for your name tag. That's all you had to do, Lindsay.
Right?
I have a this is a true story. My luggage tag, it's like a cartoon picture of Lionel Richie's head, and it says, "Hello, is it me you're looking for?"
That's great.
Hello. That is good.
Man.
So Lindsay's luggage is lost. That is why I never check luggage. I pack light enough to do carry-on, especially on an international flight.
I do that as well.
I've been lucky with my luggage when I do check it. And now AirTag makes it a little easier to like keep track of where it is too.
Right.
Haven't used that. Some people have these carry-ons that are like the size of a split-level home. I mean, these things that they can hardly fit in the the overhead compartment.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, okay.
Too much.
So, so Lindsay, so everybody else is like, oh, well, we have our luggage, and Lindsay's stuck making a report on her lost luggage. So they do something fucked up. They leave her.
She told them to go.
But wouldn't you stay, though, even though she's like, go ahead?
I mean, she was like, go ahead, I'll catch a cab. And it does seem like there's no reason for all of them to wait around there.
Well, she has to take the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so...
You save money taking a bus.
Well... The other guy, the guy whose luggage that she thought was hers, James, he gets on the bus too.
He's saving money.
And he knows the bus driver.
Yeah.
So she's sitting next to him, and they're driving, and he's shit talking the book, Paul's book.
Yeah.
Just shit talking away.
Because he sees it. Because she pulls it out.
Yeah.
And she lets him shit talk.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, the Kennedy mansion or whatever, this is the next stop. And she's like, oh, that's my stop. And then he realizes, oh, shit, I've been shit talking your friend. Yeah.
We also find out he's a nature photographer, which comes in handy later.
James, the nature photographer. So she gets out of the bus and she like gets ready to tell him to fuck off, but the bus closes before she tells him to fuck off. And the Kennedy house is fabulous.
Yeah.
Castle.
Huge.
It's like a castle, basically.
I wanted to know what the parent, because this wasn't from his money as an author. Like I got the impression they've always lived there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely the parents' money.
And they were annoying. parents.
Yeah. Did you, when they introduced the brother Corey, did you think that maybe there was going to be a gay storyline?
Yes.
Because when they introduced Corey, and then later in the movie, we made another groomsman named, I think, Finn. And I sensed that there was at one script iteration had the two of them together. I get that impression.
Yes, I did too.
Oh, that's the guy. Okay, he's the one. He gets in a boat at one point. He gets in one of the boats.
He gets in one of the boats. He's the one carrying the wood early in the movie when he meets Lindsay. Okay.
With Heather. There's a woman named Heather.
That's one of her friends. Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. So it's funny. So, Corey like gives her shit. Like, what are you doing here? And then we find out he's just kidding. And so Lindsay goes into the house. Lindsay is still kind of wacky. She almost knocks over a vase. The mom is being shady about Lindsay losing her luggage because Lindsay's bridesmaid dress was in her suitcase. Right. And mom was being bitchy about it, even though the fact that his mom shouldn't be bitchy about it. Shouldn't it have been Emma's mom that was there and bitchy about it? Because the bride, that's who deals with the bridesmaid stuff.
Mm-hmm. But as we'll soon find out in this movie, the mom was the one calling all of the shots in wedding planning.
So we find out that James is actually in town because he's covering a sheep shearing festival.
Is that in any way related to the shelf-shedding movie show? The sheep shearing?
Kurt?
I don't know, but not that I know of. I have not appeared in the sheep shearing festival as of yet.
Well,
Jason DeGray, feel free to answer us and let us know.
You better watch out. You better watch out. He'll hear this and he'll ask you to be on his show again. And you got to watch all the 6 movies. You brought this upon yourself.
I'll share some. I'll share some sheep.
I'll share some
I'm
sheep.
happy to do it. Yeah. Change the subject. I'm happy to do it. Anyway, they're at an Irish bar because this movie's all about the drinking.
Yeah. Well, Irish love to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but the drinking. Give me the Guinness. Yep. So he was working the sheep shearing festival, and then they talked to a bearded bartender. Talks to the bearded bartender, and the bearded bartender thinks that James should settle down. Stop fucking around. That's what he says. It's so many words.
Didn't say that. There's no cursing in this movie. There was almost a curse, and they did a good self edit with the bus stores closing, as a curse was about to happen.
That's right. He says to James, "Have you listened to the shelf-shutting movie podcast? Too long." No, it's not. I disagree with that. It's not too long. Yeah, we got to keep things going. Yes.
So go ahead.
No, I'm right. Okay. So Lindsay is now in a bedroom, and now her friend Heather comes in and says, "We got to go out and meet guys." She's horny.
Yeah.
She wants to go out and meet some.
Ireland is a good place to be horny.
Yeah.
She wants to go out and meet some Irish guys. I want to go to meet some Irish guys. I want a leprechaun on me. That's what she wants.
Les, what makes Ireland a better place to be horny than other places?
Yes.
Ireland is another one of those places. You remember how I said, like, how France, the guys there are like walking pheromones?
Mm-hmm.
Ireland is the same way. Like, there's just like a sexiness about the guys there.
Yeah.
And
is it that super pale skin that gets you all hot and bothered?
Yeah.
Tasty.
Yeah.
And like a ginger. Oh my gosh.
Tasty ginger.
Well, is ginger derogatory? A redhead.
I don't think ginger specifically is derogatory, but I think some of the things that people say about gingers is derogatory.
You want a pasty ginger. That's what we were.
It sounds like a weird candy. It sounds like, like there's always candies from like past generations you hear about, and like they still make them, and somebody's passing them out like at Halloween instead of giving out dimes. Let me give you some pasty gingers.
Pasty gingers, yeah.
I like a pasty ginger, please.
Yeah, there are some candy names that don't hold up these days. Pasty ginger would be one. I like a pasty ginger.
So then they the next day they go on a picnic.
Well, that's sweet.
And they're good, and they're there, and they're like getting a picnic, and then they're getting into rowboats.
They go in a boat. What happened to the picnic? Did they get to eat?
I think they brought the stuff with them on the boat. On the boat? There's 2 boats.
But they left Lindsay with no food?
She wanted him to go. She didn't want to be a fifth wheel.
She was the fifth wheel. Now, I support this because I don't like stationary eating when you have somewhere to go. Like if you're on a road trip, I want to eat while I'm moving. I've traveled with people where they want to sit in the parking lot and eat. No.
I get so mad at that.
You need to move while you're eating.
I will split the difference on that. I get the like not wanting to physically be in motion because we've been in a car. Let's get up and stretch our legs, but then go inside the restaurant and sit down. The sitting in the parking lot, I'm not on board with either.
Do that.
If I'm traveling cross country and I'm on a schedule, it's like I gotta go. I gotta get my 8 hours in.
And it's entertaining to sit to eat. You eat while you're moving. So if these people have got somewhere to go on a boat, and you could eat on the boat while
who's gonna row?
Getting to wherever you want to be.
Like somebody's rowing while the other one's chowing down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This wasn't like a captain ship. These were little rowboats.
There's no little engine.
Yeah. No.
No, I guess there wasn't. Well, I don't know.
They were pink boats too.
I just wanted to make my point.
But yeah, I agree with you, Kurt. If I'm driving cross country, I gotta go. Yeah. I gotta get my hours in. I gotta get to the next station before sundown because I really don't feel like driving in the desert in the middle of the night. So I gotta get to my motel and hunker down. So gotta go.
That's why it was important for me to shoehorn that in. It's sloppy too in the car. I got like sauce all over the place. It's a big mess. I don't care though. I got things to do.
Right?
Man, I'm crazy.
Back when I used to have a car, I once dropped a French fry down like the side, by the middle console, and like where it fell, I couldn't get to the fry to get it out for the longest. Like I had a rotting French fry in my car for months.
I found money in my car the other day. Found a couple coins. I was like, shit, man, this is like the casino. Got food under here. Coins. Damn. I don't know if this car is legal. Well, it's legal in New Jersey. Anyway.
So they all row away and leave Lindsay with no food. That
sucks.
Right? I mean, like you could have at least left me some beer and a sandwich.
That now we know why Kurt didn't like the movie.
I just leave her alone and all her lonely lonesome.
Yeah.
Can't eat. Can't do a damn thing. Just has to walk around and be alone with her disturbing thoughts.
So
I've been.
Oh, so she talks to her mom. So she calls Jane, and Jane's like, "Wait, you didn't say anything?" She's like, "You got to really start speaking up for yourself, Lindsay." And Lindsay's like sitting on this like wood bench.
No, the big stone. It was the wishing chair. The wishing chair.
And so she's talking to her mom, and she's like, Mom, I wish I was marrying Paul. And then a woman showed up in a weird outfit.
Well, that's Saint Bernard. No, what's her name? Saint
Bridget. Saint Bernard.
Saint Bridget of Kildare. Saint Bernard. It's Saint Bernard.
Saint Bernard of Barkington. Which I guarantee you, at least one person who watched this movie has a dog named Saint Bernard of Barkington. Guarantee it.
Oh. Poor people. Well, it's Saint Brigid of Kildare. Kildare was here. That album by Styx. Maybe familiar with that.
Oh yeah.
But yes,
Now, why is she a saint?
Well, let's see. There's a whole big thing about her. She's a patroness saint of Ireland. She's one of the 3 national saints, along with Patrick and Columba.
What about Patrick?
Patrick, she is a nun. But there's also rumors that she did not even exist. She wasn't even a real person. Oh boy. Just like this is like Princess Kate. We don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, there's a lot of stuff going on. She's in Irish hymns. There's debate among many secular scholars as to the truthfulness of her biographies. Ooh, we're learning shit about Brigid of Kildare. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Or maybe people
were... There's a part later in the movie where something does something that flips Lindsay out, and like she flips out. And
what happened?
There's something that happens later in the movie that flips Lindsay out to the point that she screams and faints.
Oh yeah.
My thing is, you have this woman appearing to you. So why would that flip you out?
That time it was the way in which she appeared. If it's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
She popped out of nowhere. She hides behind trees and disappears.
And so she's like, so she's like, you made this wish. Why don't you make it again? And then Lindsay makes the wish again.
What gives
and then there's a whole production.
What gives Saint Brigid of Kildare the right to be popping in and out of people's lives? She's making appearances like she's like the Virgin Mary,
or like Endora or something.
I don't think she has that kind of status where she could be doing stuff like that.
Well, she does like in the lore of this movie.
But I'm arguing with the lore of the movie.
But Endora didn't have any status, did she?
The Virgin Mary should have appeared to Lindsay Lohan instead. At least that's somewhat believable. She has enough status; she could probably make that happen.
But I don't know.
That might be a little weird.
I don't know if the Virgin Mary is like known for coming in and granting wishes like a genie. They probably picked a saint that isn't very well known so that they could have a little more creative license with what they do with the character.
Listen, people rebrand themselves. I think we all have learned that over the years. Lindsay Lohan has taught us that.
Saint Brigid is a chameleon. She's like Madonna reinventing herself every couple of years.
Virgin Mary, what? You're doing wishes now? Hey.
Wow, that was my thing, Mary.
Ourselves.
Fine.
Yeah, I rebrand myself Virgin Mary. I don't think that.
Although, to be fair, Virgin Mary did brand herself as a virgin, so
right,
you might be onto something here. Oh, you're pregnant, but you're a virgin. Okay, Mary.
Hey. People are talking about it.
Yeah, the rebranding worked.
We are going to get hate mail.
Trouble now. Yeah, from Jason DeBray. That's going to be the first letter on the top of the pile. Comes in. It show's too long, huh?
So Lindsay made her wish, and then there was like a big production, like with leaves and stuff,
flowers,
and flowers. And then Lindsay, all of a sudden, she wakes up. She's in bed.
And then she sees Paul is in the shower, and he's buck-assed there, naked.
Yes. And Lindsay's like, oh my God, what are you doing here?
She
tells
it's
her
him,
best friend's boyfriend.
She tells him he's too skinny. He's got to eat a sandwich or something.
Right. Did you think he was too skinny?
I kind of did, actually.
Yeah.
He was a little scrawny for my taste.
Have yourself a sandwich.
Look like you've been doing some sit-ups, though.
It's probably healthier to be skinnier, but you want to get you can have a sandwich or something.
Some meat on them bones.
Have some Irish. I was some Irish potatoes. Those are good. The little sweet things. That'll do the trick. Done it for me.
So,
All right, back to work.
so Paul's in the shower, and then Lindsay's like, oh my God. And so she does like another pratfall over her suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
So her suitcase all of a sudden had appeared out of nowhere. And then she goes into the hall and she runs into Emma, and Lindsay's being kind of shifty because she's thinking, oh my God, I'm in a room with my friend's boyfriend.
Friend's
What am I
naked
doing?
fiance.
Or yeah,
And then-
he's naked.
And then Emma whips out a computer and she's showing like Hinge or whatever, and she's like all these dudes.
Yeah,
Just
and then
look at all
Lindsay's
that.
like, what the hell is going on? And then she told Emma about her dream.
Yeah, she tells Heather about the dream.
Oh, Heather. Oh, she told Heather.
Yeah.
And Heather's looking at her too, like, why are you being weird, Lindsay? And
Basically, Heather tells the audience and therefore tells Lindsay that, like, you know, you're marrying Paul, and shows her a picture of the two of them together, shows her the engagement ring, sort of like sets the stage for the audience to know that, like, okay, she's switched bodies. Or not switched bodies, but like her wish came true.
she's been Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She was in that.
Yeah, she's been Freaky Friday.
Remember that one?
Yeah. Oh, I remember that one. And she's been Freaky Friday, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's what I was saying. She was in it. Yeah. I never saw it.
I didn't see the one with her. No.
I saw the old one with Jodie Foster.
Same.
And Foster Brooks, or who played the
And
mother? on
Barbara
that?
Harris.
Barbara Harris. Yeah.
So Lindsay goes down to breakfast, and we find out that like Paul is really outdoorsy, but Lindsay is not very outdoorsy.
We also very
And-
casually learn that the mom is having trouble finding a photographer for the wedding.
Yes.
Which
And
is
the wedding cake is.
Go
Oh, I was
ahead.
gonna say the wedding cake is too tall. They can't fit the cake in a vehicle.
Yes. And I
And
can
so-
tell you, as a son of a baker, that they don't assemble the cake on its tiers before they put it on the truck. They get it to the location, and then they build the tiers.
Oh, I thought they'd put it in like a pickup truck, and you'd have this big giant wedding cake, and they
Yeah. Just unwieldy cake.
drive down the street.
Yeah.
So then,
Oh, this is when they go out and they're bike riding, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
Lindsay's
he's
not
kind of
good.
an asshole.
Again, just like
She-
pratfalls for no reason. Why do we have
Yeah.
Lindsay falling over on a bike?
She doesn't know how to
Like,
ride a
what kind
bike.
of a dumbass is she that she doesn't know how to ride a bike at her age?
I don't know. She doesn't want to do it. She wants to pick apples.
No, well, I thought her friends did.
Yeah, but she wanted to get out of the bike, and he talks her into it. He's like, oh, everyone knows how to ride a bike.
She'd rather pick apples.
Yeah.
Now, you got to be careful with picking fruit because I think I told this story before where I went with somebody. We picked a bunch of blackberries. You know, you put them in like a bucket, and then we find out how much this stuff costs. Man, I was fleeced.
I
much did it
refuse to go pick fruit. I refuse to do it.
It was expensive, man. I had to pay for.
Yeah,
all
why
these
would you pay to
blackberries.
pick fruit?
It's an activity. Myself and someone else. I think it was the other person's idea.
That's a scam. There's
know,
this podcast that I listen to called Scam Goddess,
Yeah.
and I want to try to get her on the show because Scam Goddess is like hilarious.
Okay, because I'll talk about this BlackBerry thing.
And Scam Goddess points out like real life scams, and so I've been listening to the podcast so much that I've started pointing out real life scams. That's a scam. Picking fruit.
I pick the blackberries, and then but we have to pay for the blackberries. So we do the labor, and then we have to pay for the fruit.
I am
pay
not a
them
fan
to
of any kind of business model that involves me doing the work, such as I don't have any pets, but those you wash doggy places where you bring your pet in, but you're washing the pet. Why am I paying you?
Right.
Or like the Korean barbecue where you have to like cook your own food at the table. Hate that.
Yeah.
Hate it.
It's a
And
scam.
how about the ones? Let's not mention the brand, but there's the food kits. They send a box of ingredients, and then you have to spend 3 hours actually cooking it.
Yeah, not doing that.
Well, we gotta be nice to them because they might be the sponsors.
That's why I didn't say.
Well, maybe I would do it if they got me hooked on it. Because I have been cooking for myself more lately, so I can at least understand how that gets you into doing the thing. But if I'm schlepping across town to go to a restaurant, I want you to make me the food.
Oh, are you on a fitness journey?
I've been on a fitness journey, but in general, I just don't like going to restaurants where I have to make it.
Oh, I'm on a weight loss journey by my birthday, April 26th.
Okay.
Oh. I put on weight when I was in Fresno. I put on like 4 pounds. I still haven't. I have to, like, I put on weight.
Were you eating like those burritos and stuff?
Donuts and just going out to eat, and it was trouble. I had a $15 piece of cake in the airport.
Wait, what?
What else am I going to do in the airport?
Kurt, you could have bought a whole cake for $15.
Not at airport prices. You can't.
Airport, that was going to cost me like $500.
That's actually a
What kind
deal.
of cake was it?
What kind of cake was it? Vagina. What'd you say?
$15. What kind of cake was that? Vagina cake?
I didn't know there was such a thing as vagina cake.
I didn't either.
No, they do have a massage parlor in the airport. One of them I was in. That was kind of interesting. No, but I didn't go there. But no, I did get a $15 piece of cake. I think it was like a chocolate cake.
Was it like?
It was fine. I was at an airport. I was like, this is an activity for me. Yes, it had flavor, less.
15. Well, it's an airport.
I'm starting to get annoyed.
$15.
Look, listen.
Yes, we're listening. Kurt
Kurt
said listen and then said nothing.
I wanted to listen to silence. $15 slice of cake. And I'll tell you what's worse. Do you want to hear what's even makes it worse?
Yes, I want to hear what's worse. I'm offended.
So I ate at the restaurant in the airport, and I saw a cake on the menu, and I was like, I'm not going to get the cake. Then I go and walk around the airport a little bit because it's like a long layover, and I came back to the same restaurant, and I ate there again, and I just had the cake.
So you ate there twice?
Yes, in the same night.
I like that you left and doubled back. I like
I
that.
left and I came back to the restaurant again. I sat in the same place, and I...
And are they like you again?
No.
Did you have to bake the cake yourself?
Right, for $15.
No.
Okay, mission accomplished.
Listen, you're in the airport. The rules are it's you know what it's like.
Oh,
Rules
I
are out the
know.
window. Rules are out the window. Common sense is out the window.
$15.
At least I didn't buy an Eagles hat for $35.
Who did that?
Philadelphia Airport. I saw one for sale.
That's a
So that's what
normal
we're talking
price
about.
for a
Is it?
Major League Baseball hat. Yeah, that's normal.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I get my major league swag on Amazon.
I look at the books in airports because I heard that sometimes authors come through the airport and they find their books in the airport and they autograph them.
Oh.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay.
I do love a good bookstore. I do love a good airport bookstore buy.
That's fun. Yeah.
Which of those authors do you think wrote their own phone number in the book?
I'd call them.
Yeah.
Candace Bushnell.
Nah. I'd call her.
You wouldn't call Candace Bushnell.
Hello, Mr. Grisham. I got your number.
I like the concept of like J.K. Rowling is just like rolling through like JFK in New York, and she is in a bookstore. She sees a Harry Potter book, and just like unprompted, she writes like an anti-trans comment in a book and signs it.
Right. Because then when you look at her and go, turf, turf.
Nah. Yeah. I think she'd be a little bit more sneaky about it. She'd write it in like a Tom Clancy book or something like that.
No, she like she constantly is saying anti-trans stuff like unprompted. Like it's insane how often she'll bring up horrible things to say without people asking her to say them.
See, now I think she gets off on it, though.
Oh, probably.
I think in the beginning, she was like, you know, like, oh, dear, I can't believe I did that. But then now she's like, get some kind of dopamine.
Well, yeah, now the more she's dragged for, the more she actually does it.
What came out of my mouth? I don't know. Just made her money. She doesn't care anymore.
And that's it. She's like, you know, I don't give a fuck. I'm rich.
I've canceled myself.
I'm a rich girl, I am.
She's a rich girl, and she's gone too far. Hey, so then these people start talking about Botox. Like Emma and Paul are talking about, he's saying he wants to get Botox. So I think it's okay for me to get Botox.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a little Botox.
You're going to get a little of that.
There's nothing wrong with a few cc's of Botox.
Yeah. I think they were trying to show in that moment that Paul and Emma are the right level of shallow for each other. I think that's what that was supposed to illustrate.
Wait, Botox is shallow.
I think they're saying the characters are shallow for wanting it. Yes, I do think they're actually judging the characters when they wrote that line.
Because he wasn't that old.
No.
He's looking ahead.
Yeah. Because I'd say he was like in his 30s.
Yeah.
But Emma would look like she was even younger than that.
Mm.
But then they do talk about preemptive Botox these days.
Oh.
But then I think when you get preemptive Botox, it just makes you look old. You know?
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, no, I do. I look like it gives you like old, like, for ladies.
I feel that way too. I've never wanted it, and I don't think I'll ever get it. I feel like I'm just going to age the way I age, and by not trying to block it from happening, I think makes people's faces look weird, and it's noticeable that you're doing something there, so I'd rather just let nature take its course.
Oh, I dabbled, but what I do is I tell the person, listen, I'm an actor and it's to move. So I want only enough CCs that will still allow me to move my face. I haven't had it in a while, though.
Well,
I haven't had it since lockdown.
I'm gonna moisturize and just for men my way to youth.
Yeah.
Well, everyone should moisturize.
I don't bother with it just for men. I do moisturize though.
Good.
Everyone should moisturize.
Are you shocked that I moisturize?
No, I love this journey.
No, because I've been in your life for a long time, so I'm sure I've like put that bug in your ear.
Oh, I thought you noticed. I thought you noticed the quality of my skin.
Years, Kurt.
Les noticed the quality of my skin. He said, "I'm not surprised. You moisturize." Excellent. Let's leave it at that.
Oh.
Let's get back into the movie.
Yeah. Well, why? We don't hear me moisturizing?
So Lindsay's trying on this ugly dress. So wait a minute. Earlier in the movie, when they found her suitcase...
Les, it's an audio podcast. Please stop banging the table.
I was feeling passionate about what I was about to say.
Okay.
I thought we were in the Supreme Court all of a sudden.
Earlier in the movie, when she found her suitcase, they found a wedding dress in her suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's trying on this other wedding dress that looked like it looked really ugly, like something the evil queen on Snow White would wear.
Yes. What's the issue?
Well, that's right. It was the grandmother's.
The dress she was trying on was Paul's grandmother's and mother's dress. The one in the suitcase was the one that Lindsay and Jane Seymour picked out for her. So basically, Paul's mom is so overbearing and has so much money that she's like, you're going to do all the things I'm telling you to do at your wedding.
See, that's why Jane needed to be there.
Yeah.
So, set her straight.
She was trying.
So then we see James, and James is in a bookstore buying a book. And as James is buying the book, the guy that worked at the bookstore was like, oh my gosh, congratulations. You are the 100th customer. And your prize is you win Paul Kennedy's book, which is the book that James hates.
Yes.
So then all of a sudden, Saint Brigid shows up, and remember, Paul, the reason why he was in town was to work at the sheep shearing festival. She puts a canceled sign on the sheep shearing festival. Mm-hmm. So now Paul doesn't have a gig. So then Saint Brigid shows up and talks to Lindsay, and she's like, well, are you happy with your wish? And then Lindsay does like another pratfall and falls into a car. Mm-hmm. But that was kind of weird.
Just like a flip.
Yeah, well, she ran out of the shop in the wedding dress. I thought for sure they were going to do like a Bridesmaids kind of thing.
Right.
Because remember the scene in Bridesmaids where Maya Rudolph runs out of the dress shop in her dress and has diarrhea in the street?
But like this made no sense though. Like Lindsay doing a pratfall and then falling into a car.
But it's James's car. It's
as it was driving.
Yeah.
Down the street.
She's lucky she didn't get hit.
Right.
This is very
But James, so she met James, before she did her wish. So
in reality,
when she fell into James's car, James didn't remember her.
Yeah.
And then he meets up with Paul's mom, and then it comes out that he's a photographer, and Paul's mom asks him, and at first he's like, no. And then she's like, I'll triple your fee. And he's like, when do you need me?
Yeah.
And so is James is driving around looking for backdrops, right? Or is that Paul? I just have here driving around.
So in that same moment when they're like discussing that you're going to, or either that moment or later in the movie, it's talked about that the next day, James and Paul and Maddie, Lindsay's character, are all going to drive around and shoot or find locations to do photos after they get married to promote the book.
Right. Okay, so then this next part, what was the reason for this? Lindsay wakes up, she gets startled, and then she ends up like hitting Paul and then hitting him in the balls. Why was this scene
because
necessary?
In her mind, she's a single person. She forgets that her wish came true and that she's with Paul because she hasn't been with Paul romantically ever. If you think about it. Mm-hmm. So he gets in bed. She's like, wait, what? Why? Who's this man in my bed? I'm not expecting a man in my bed because I'm single in her mind. And so she reflex like hits him in the eye and punches him in the balls.
See, I thought that was unnecessary.
Again, too many like wacky pratfally things.
Right. Yeah, he's kind of amorous with her. She wasn't.
I don't even think he was. I think he just climbed into bed, and she's like, "What the?"
He just climbed into bed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wasn't doing anything.
So that's why it was like, So that's why he was like, "What was that all about?" Because he literally just climbed into bed, and then she like kicked his ass.
Yeah.
She said, "Are you all right?" And he said, "I'm tickety boo." That was his response. Mm-hmm. I'm tickety boo. I've never heard that before.
So then this is the part of the movie where it's like an ad for come to Ireland. We want you. So they were there. There's all this beautiful scenery, and then they went to some cliffs. And Lindsay was like, "Oh my gosh, I wouldn't mind getting married here." And they look at scenery, it's all beautiful. Then Lindsay's talking about how Jane is coming tomorrow. Like her mom's gonna be there tomorrow, finally, for the wedding. And then the next day we find out that Jane has overslept.
Well, Bridget did something wonky to Jane's clock, because you see the clock going nuts. And at the same time, there's a storm in Ireland that puts a tree in the path of James and Maddie.
Right. And I still don't understand, why did Bridget hate Jane? There was no reason for her to hate her.
I'm looking at the history of Saint Brigid of Kildare, seeing if there's anything in there that would reveal that.
I guess it was she was just trying to keep the mom away, because without the mom there, maybe Lindsay wouldn't go through the wedding. I don't know.
Yeah, find out if St. Bridget had a beef against Dr. Quinn medicine.
All right, I'm trying to see if she had. Well, the Vitae says that somebody's wife forced him to sell Bridget's mother to a druid when she became pregnant. That sounds. Oh, this might have been inspired by the biblical story of Abraham and Hagar. Oh, Hagar the Horrible, the Viking. So that sounds like there's some medical, theme to that.
A medical thing.
Yeah, I think that's a really valid explanation.
Oh, so the tree is blocking them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a big
Lindsay and James in their car.
Yeah, it's raining.
And so then we bounce back to Jane Seymour, and she missed her flight. Then we bounce back to Lindsay and James, and they found a pub, and they go into the pub. And
we skipped the fact that Paul and Emma are back at the house hitting it off, and she's like nursing his eye back, and he's like, "Oh, stay here and keep me company."
Ooh.
Yeah.
So there's
and then Finn shows up, and he's fancy and is a good dancer.
Yes.
Oh man, this is worse than when someone had to sell Bridget's mother to a druid. I mean, things are heating up. This place is too wild for me.
So
yeah, they're in the Irish pub and they're drinking all over the place, drinking Guinness. I don't mind Guinness.
I like Guinness.
And I do love a good hotel room in a pub. I love staying in pubs. Because whenever we go to England to visit my in-laws, when we go to visit my mother-in-law in her village, we stay at a pub, and it's really fun.
Yeah. See, that's like eating in an airport. It's like it's probably a little more expensive, and you're having to get the experience.
No, the pub is not expensive. Pub food is good food.
Yeah, pub food is good.
And if you stay in the pub, a lot of times you get like free breakfast, and it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like eggs and sausage, and like it's like really good. Kippers.
Black pudding.
I don't eat black pudding. And I don't eat beans on toast. Anyway, so they're drinking in the pub, and then Lindsay says, like, they're talking about beer, and Lindsay's like, I don't like beer.
She wants white wine.
And James is like, how dare you? But then he gets her white wine. And so they're talking, and James tells her how he travels for work all the time, so he really doesn't have a home base. And then they start playing darts, and Lindsay discovers that she's good at darts because James is teaching her tricks. And
They almost kiss.
And they're more suited for each other than she and Paul are. So it's looking. So you see, Paul and Emma are more suited, and Lindsay and James are more suited.
Right.
So they sleep over, and then the next day they have trouble starting the car because I guess the car got flooded from the rain.
Well, poor Jane Seymour back in Des Moines is trying to get a new flight because she gets the airport late. And the girl at the counter is like a former student who is chatty as fuck.
Allegra.
And she thinks it's hilarious that her former school principal was late, overslept.
Yeah.
So she starts calling her friend.
Right.
Tell her about this.
And Jane is being very impatient, which my thought was Jane should have used her former teacher card as a way to get not only a quicker flight, but a bump up to first class.
Yeah, but what if the student didn't like her?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The student liked her though.
The student didn't really make it clear whether or not she liked her, but she did think it was hilarious that the former principal was late and was texting her friend about it. So she wasn't helpful.
Walked away.
Yeah.
She was disgusted and walked away.
Yeah.
And so then we're back in Ireland. They're trying to get the car to start, and then the friend is like, why don't we do a running start where you push the car,
roll and jump,
and then
run and jump.
And so they pushed the car got started, they got some mud on them, but they show up and they get there just in time for the rehearsal dinner.
Oh, well, no, this is the actual wedding rehearsal, and Emma is the stand-in for the bride,
Yes.
which is not appropriate at all.
No, they're carrying on the actual rehearsal for the wedding, which they wouldn't do if the bride wasn't there.
No.
Right.
It's not like a movie set where you have a stand-in for lighting purposes and the actual actor doesn't need to be there. Like, the actual bride does need to be at the rehearsal.
Yes.
First team, please. Okay.
Yeah.
The actual bride.
So then they show up, they get there just in time.
Right.
And Paul's mother is not happy about this. Like, she gives her and makes shady comments.
They're pissed.
So then Lindsay steps in for the rehearsal, and as she's rehearsing, she looks up and she sees the stained glass window, and Saint Brigid is in the stained glass window, and Saint Brigid winks at Lindsay, and Lindsay freaks out.
So this says with the Bridget of Kildare on Wikipedia, as she grew older, Bridget was said to have worked miracles, including healing and feeding the poor. According to one tale, as a child, she once gave away her mother's entire store of butter. Wow.
Ooh.
The butter was then replenished in answer to Bridget's prayers. She gave the butter away. She got the butter back.
She had a butter store?
She sold butter, man.
Wow.
And Bridget and her daughter, and grateful daughter, who became a saint, gave away all the butter.
But then the butter replenished itself, though, right?
Yeah, when she came home, she said, look, I opened up a butter store, which was risky to begin with. I don't need you giving away all the butter.
But then didn't the butter go bing, 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 bing,
Yeah,
and then show up?
She prayed for it to come back.
She's okay, God, my mom is going to beat my ass because I gave away all of her butter. Can you please give me some more? And then the butter, showed up.
Well, I picture the next day people coming into the butter store and being amazed that there's a whole new supply of butter, and Lindsay tells him Bridget tells him it's not butter, and they say, I can't believe it's not butter. I took you on a journey. You're welcome.
I love it.
What was the one butter or margarine where you'd get a crown?
Butter. Parquet. Was there a crown butter? There was some commercial with a king. Was
that may have been Parquet.
And then the crown would show up on your head.
Butter. Parquet.
Oh, it's still round. But I don't see a crown.
And then in Spain, the commercial went mantequilla.
Well, she was giving away all the butter. Which said that Bridget was veiled or became a consecrated virgin. I don't know how you do that. What is that? What's a consecrated virgin? Oh, she's consecrated by the church to a life of perpetual virginity as a bride of Christ. All right.
Well, that's what nuns do anyway.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
It was imperial butter, or imperial margarine with the crown, not Parquet.
Oh no, she was giving away butter. Giving away butter, no margarine in there.
And then what was the one? It's not nice to fool Mother Nature. Oh, that's Blue Bonnet.
Yeah, that was.
Everything's better with Blue Bonnet on it.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, time well spent in my youth watching hours and hours of that.
It's not nice to fool Mother Nature.
How about the guy that used to say, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. The guy had real food addiction issues, and it was like for Pepto-Bismol. Well, maybe you could back off a little bit from the buffet table, and you wouldn't have an upset stomach.
I just picture people messaging us after listening to this episode saying like, yeah, when I first started listening to the episode, you guys made me crave cake, and at the end all I wanted was butter or margarine. It's all I could think of.
I just wanted dairy. It's our dairy episode. Oh, so speaking of a table, they're having dinner. They're having like the rehearsal dinner, and then they start playing this game. How well do you know each other? Now, it turns out, so the thing that I thought was kind of dumb about this is, of course, Lindsay wouldn't know the answers because when this stuff was going on, since this was like a magic spell, she wasn't there when he proposed.
Right. Yeah, she has no memory of it.
Yeah.
Right, because she wasn't there. She wasn't the one that went through the stuff. So it was showing, so they asked the questions and she didn't know anything. Of course she wouldn't know the answer.
Well, they don't know.
So that made no sense that
they don't know
why they didn't love each other.
That was kind of the joke of the scene, but it didn't work. It was not for me.
Because they asked, what was your proposal like? But, then it turned out that she proposed, like he was like, oh, you proposed to me. Which Lindsay didn't know that she proposed. But of course she wouldn't know because she wasn't there.
Yeah. And he didn't know critical facts about her, like her favorite author.
James Joyce.
Yes. But he said James Charles
Joyce
Dickens.
Boring? Yeah, he's
Ulysses. Ulysses is James. And Dubliners is James Joyce. But you're supposed to read Dubliners first, and then you might be able to understand Ulysses.
So the point of this scene was to show that they really didn't know each other.
Mm-hmm.
So then, so then James was there for this. And James was like, well, if you were my girlfriend, I would have treated you differently. And I would have asked you to marry. You wouldn't have had to ask me to marry you. So then we cut back to Jane Seymour, and Saint Brigid, messed up the flights.
Mm-hmm.
Saint Brigid really has a hard-on for Jane Seymour and hates her.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I wrote here, why are you trying to kill Jane Seymour? What did she do to you?
Was Jane Seymour a druid?
Right.
Bridget, with an initial group of 7 companions, is credited with organizing communal, consecrated religious life for women in Ireland. Party on.
Woo, nuns.
See, you learn a lot from this podcast.
You
learn about life.
You're just dropping religious facts throughout the podcast.
It's all about Bridget of Kildare, specifically about her.
Oh, so then we find out that Paul wrote all the vows. And he was like, well, I'm a writer, even though Lindsay was the one that basically wrote that book.
And to be clear, Paul wrote his own vows and wrote Lindsay's vows for him.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Oh, Bridget helps miracles. Oh, this is interesting. Her power is expressed in helping miracles. So that's what she does. Healing, feeding the hungry, and rescuing the weak from violence. But then she's knocking people down.
Right. She perpetuates violence against Jane Seymour.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But we also don't know. Maybe Jane Seymour wished for something, and this is her wish coming true. Maybe we don't know that detail.
She wished for violence.
Or maybe she wished that she didn't have to go to her daughter's wedding.
That may be true too.
Maybe.
You don't know what people are wishing deep down. And Kildare women's, she's listening.
So James sees Patrick and Emma together, and James does not get a good feeling about this.
Mm.
And James is really into Lindsay, and he's going after her. And so James tells Lindsay, I read the book.
You said your book, wrote. And she's like, Paul wrote it. She's like, I said what I said.
Yeah, he's like, you wrote it.
How does he know that? How does he know that?
And he was like, and you shouldn't edit your own life. And
Paul's watching all that.
Yep.
But also before the night before, Paul and Emma kind of had a moment that Lindsay witnessed from the window too.
Right.
Oh.
So everyone's catching each other.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful.
Yep.
Slip up.
So then it's the day of the wedding. First, Heather stops by to talk to Lindsay. And then the priest shows up. And then Lindsay tells the priest, hey, you know what? I did something bad. I asked Bridget for something. And the priest was like, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with that. And, who was it that said that Bridget won't give you what you want, she'll give you what you need?
The priest.
Is that what the priest said?
Yeah.
Oh,
or he said that like she's rumored to not always give you what you want, but always gives you what you need.
And go ahead.
Upon Bridget's death, Darlugdak became the second abbess of Kildare.
Who did?
Darlugdak was so devoted to her mentor that when Bridget lay dying, Darlugdak expressed the wish to die with her. Oh, wait, that's not what I wanted to read. It was something else.
And did she die? Wait, no, did Bridget kill her?
No. Well, but Bridget expressed the wish to die with her, but Bridget replied that Darlugdak would die on the first anniversary of her death. But what I wanted to say was that Bridget was said to have given the last rites when she was dying by Saint Brigid of the Pure Hand. Afterwards, I can't read it. Ninnidh of the Pure Hand. Afterwards, he reportedly had his right hand encased in metal, so it would never be defiled. And this was the origin of his.
Wait.
Well,
so
he gave the last rites. He gave the last rites.
So she's like wreaking havoc during her death. So first she's dying.
This is when she's
the
dying.
One lady's all, I want to die with you. And Bridget's like, no, you're not going to die with me, but you're going to die next year.
Well, I read the paragraphs. I read the paragraphs out of order. This is when she was getting the last rites. The saint that gave her the last rites, he took his right hand, which he gave her the last rites for, and he cased it in metal.
So he's like, I'm never washing this hand again.
Yeah.
And put it in metal for the rest of his life.
Yeah, it was like the episode of the Jetsons where Judy Jetson like accidentally touched a celebrity of some kind. She's like, I'm never washing this hand again.
So he's like the Tin Man. He put his hand in metal.
Look, there's a lot going on.
I bet that hand was really smelly.
I mean, back then, didn't everyone kind of smell? Just baseline.
True. But, like, did he have to, like, be like the Tin Man and put oil on it? Like.
Oh, man. People were working hard to get attention back then, I think.
I see.
They needed to really make their mark.
I mean, Bridget has sort of painted herself in history as being this, like, grantor of wishes and good figure. But, like, counterpoint, maybe she was just an asshole.
She was like, because the one lady,
she's fucking with people.
Lady's like, take me with you, and then Bridget's like, oh, you're gonna die, all right, but I'm gonna make you wait an entire year to die.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bridget's almost like she has a door every day. She sings, she acts, she dances, does whatever, everything she could do. Never gives up, keeps going, gets her.
Well, then it makes sense how she's wreaking havoc on Lindsay Lohan, because it sounds like she wreaked havoc during her life.
Did Saint Brigid ever record a duet with Jermaine Jackson?
Yes. And did she make it? Did she make it into the Bible at least with all this? That would be
Did she win a Golden Globe?
Man, Maybe she was the Blac Chyna.
I like that you equate winning a Gold Globe with getting into the Bible.
Yeah, that's like getting into the Bible. I gotta get one line in the Bible. I might be able to slip you into Exodus.
But if not, then I need to start sucking up to the Hollywood Foreign Press.
Right? I need my Golden Globe.
Get me in the New Testament. Get me in the Old Testament. Come on. No, you're.
I guess.
New Testament. Come on.
I guess the guy lining his hand in metal is kind of like a Golden Globe.
Yeah. I mean,
'cause that's pretty. That's pretty kick-ass. That a man would like touch me, and then I was that girl. So he had to encase his hand in metal because I was that girl.
Saint Brigid.
Someone find that as like a big gesture. I find it super creepy.
Well, yes.
It is unusual.
Yeah, it is.
All right, enough about Saint Brigid until I tell you.
So anyway, so anyway,
okay.
Lindsay is talking to Emma. And Lindsay's basically like, well, I know you're into him, and he's into you, and you're supposed to be together, and plus, this is all my fault anyway. You are supposed to be together, but I made this wish.
Where was this?
And then,
we're at the wedding now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this when Lindsay Lohan, she walks in her street clothes, and they're expecting her?
Yeah.
Are we at that yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody in the wedding says, "Is that the dress?"
Yeah. I love a good loop group. To the people that like throw in all the noise and stuff in post production, and like there's a group of actors that get their union scale for the day to like put in phrases and things that people would actually say in the background of a crowd.
Yes. And if you have that job and you're listening, you are the luckiest person on the face of the earth, because that work is so easy and you're making a ton of money for that.
And it's steady. It's steady work.
Okay.
And they're likely using the same people over and over and over again. Somebody gets in and they are in. They're not giving it up.
They're like, this is my
And they're not telling you how to get in there.
Right. So it's like the Illuminati.
You got to go make an Irish wish to get in there in that loop group.
That's right. So you've won in life if you're doing that job.
Maybe that's what Tokyo Toni's talking about. That's the Illuminati.
That is it. Yeah. Well, if you sell your soul, try to get something higher than being a voiceover.
Like perhaps getting in the Bible or a Golden Globe.
Right. A mention in the Bible.
There's so many good things.
So then Lindsay's talking to James, and then long story short, Lindsay's like, you know what? I've messed this whole thing up. She's like, I take the wish back. And then the entire movie goes in reverse. Mm-hmm. And they show.
Well, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So then I stopped taking notes. So then what else happened?
Well, then we're back in the bathroom. You gave up. Well, then I learned that through our messenger chat little group, Jason said he watched this movie. I'm gonna reveal this because you've been revealing things about me.
Oh, okay.
Go
ahead.
He speeds things up. No, you made me admit that I ate a piece of cake for $15. No, he speeds things up like 1.5.
I said I watched this movie at 1.25 because I actually didn't know until today that you could do that on Netflix, and I'm like, I might be a little crunched for time, so I sped it up. And honestly, at 1.25, it doesn't even sound different.
I watched a little bit of it.
I didn't know that either until I was this many years old.
Yeah, I was crunched for time, so I got to speed things up a little bit, but I did see what happened. And basically, it's back to where we were. She's a bridesmaid again, but now she's the bridesmaid for Emma's wedding.
Yeah.
It's the real wedding. And James isn't there. She walks up to a man who looks like James.
Okay, because I saw that part.
Yeah.
She could have said, well, all right, if you're here.
And she had a weird fascinator on her head.
Yeah. And then Heather realizes Corey, the brother, isn't into her, so she meets a cute guy at a wedding, which further enhances my theory that maybe Corey and Finn were going to get together in the original script.
Yes, because Corey, and it was kind of weird how they started off with Corey, me think they made it obvious that it was going to be a gay storyline, and then they just dropped it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
But
Paul,
then another handsome man walks up though and meets Heather.
yeah. So she goes off, dances with him, and then Paul wants Maddie to start work on the next book while he's away on his honeymoon. And she's like, no, I'm not going to co-write this for you if you're not giving me credit. So I'm going to go write my own story.
And then she said, did you know, and this is what I'm reading, did you know that Bridget was an expert dairy woman and brewer, was reputed to turn water into beer? That's what it says.
Oh, so she made butter and beer.
She made beer.
There you go. So that's why she's so popular in Ireland.
Bridget's just a bullshit artist that told people, hey, I made this alcohol because I'm a saint, and people like over time have cemented that story as being true.
Because that was another minor storyline, by the way, that Lindsay didn't like beer, but then she started to like beer towards the end of this movie.
Yeah.
I like Bridget. She's got hands in a lot of pots, much like myself.
I didn't like her head wrap, though.
Well, I like now that I'm reading more about her, she's got a lot going on.
Yeah, well, she obviously, people putting their hands in metal for her, she.
So she doesn't want to write the book. She doesn't want to do the book. Then she goes to the Irish bar, but James left. Then she finds him, sits down next to him. He's turned down that Bolivia job. And she says, well, I'm going to write a book on the cliffs of Moher. Mm-hmm. And he says, well, that sounds really boring. And she says, well, I'm going to do it. And they decide to go there. And then they're on the cliff and they jump off.
They did not do that.
No, they did not jump off.
They did not jump off.
They did not jump off the cliff.
But Jane Seymour survived this movie.
He didn't say it would be boring either. No. And then that's looks like that's about it, right?
Yeah, it basically resets their relationship so they get to like find each other for real, even though Lindsay knows all this information about him and he knows nothing about her.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of sweet.
Now, this movie wasn't great, but it did not piss me off. I was not pissed off, and I was not offended by it. And even though it wasn't great, I wasn't like, it wasn't a chore to watch either. We've watched way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I definitely feel better about things after going through it. I've learned some things about myself.
Wait, what
did you learn? What did you learn?
I've learned things about the world. I don't know. I feel like I just feel better about things.
Oh, well, then the movie has done its job.
This movie has infused you with optimism, Kurt.
Saint Brigid did that.
I think it's good that people can realize that like the person they're going to marry might not be the right person, and maybe somebody else might be the right person. And they come to this conclusion, they express this, and then people seem to be much happier in life.
You know what, Kurt? You saying this, that actually has changed my opinion on this movie a little bit too. Because now that I think about it, I do like the fact that she was all gaga over this guy and then got what she wanted and then realized, oh, well, maybe it's not, maybe I'm not in love with this guy. It's kind of like that storyline on Days of Our Lives right now where this woman switched a baby and kidnapped this baby. And now that she has this baby, she like hates the baby and wants to get rid of it.
That'll happen.
No.
But I do like the fact, though, that it was like, it's not always what you think it's going to be. And so the fact that, Lindsay wished for this guy, she got the guy, and then realized, oh, well, it's not so great. I do kind of like that.
Yeah. The only thing I really wish this movie would have addressed in a bigger way was the fact that, yeah, exactly. Oh no, Bridge is gonna get me. I feel like the movie would comment on the fact that Lindsay was sort of telling small lies to sort of lie to herself about her relationship with Paul and sort of bending over backwards to do everything for him, writing his book. And like, it never really beat her up a little bit more for like, why were you doing that? Why were you capitulating to him and his family? Like, why aren't you your own person?
Because the thing is, yeah, and you're right, Jason, because she was in the movie, she was a smart woman, very attractive. Lindsay looked great in this movie, I've got to say.
Yeah.
She really did. I think this is the best she's ever looked. Seriously.
But sometimes people have insecurities that they have, maybe stuff from when they were growing up.
Right. And that's fine if you do, but address that and not just treat it like, well, when you find the man that is right for you, then everything's going to be okay. Because that's not really what it was. No. She had to find within herself that she's capable on her own.
Right.
But come on, she's the reason why her team won math leagues.
Yeah.
What's that from?
That's from Mean Girls.
Mean Girls? Mean Girls? Well, it's been a while since I've seen
that. But yeah, so the movie still was bad, but it wasn't like offensively bad.
Yeah, I did not feel like it was a slog to get through it, which I sometimes do with some of these movies. So that's a win for me.
Like, I didn't leave the movie angry at anybody.
I felt like it was like a pacemaker surgery. Watching the movie was like undergoing the surgery. But then once you're done, your heart's a beating.
your heart's a beating.
Oh, man.
And it's a wonder with all that butter.
Shut up.
Now, I do hope for her next movie, since she does have this deal, I do hope that she does make a better movie for the next one.
Yeah, Lindsay, we're in your corner. I like the Machete movie she did.
Because I do like Lindsay getting this like third or fourth or whatever chance this is for her. I do like her getting another shot.
It's a legit movie. It's #1 on Netflix now. Yeah. So there you go. Success.
Oh, so she's gonna get another deal then. Because at the end of the day, they just look at numbers.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't care whether or not the movie's good or bad if it's making the numbers.
Got that Netflix stock is up. It was low for a long time. It's gone back up.
Because, when it comes to Lindsay, she's had such a troubled career, and she was, such a troubled person. I do root for her.
Yeah, I think most people do, and I also think that's why she sort of stepped away from the spotlight for quite a while and wasn't working. I think that was a choice of hers, to a degree.
To regroup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm glad on this other hand to see her out there doing something. Like, she's not a statistic at this point. And she could easily have been.
Yeah. This is legit work. Doing well. People are watching it. What more could you ask for?
Now, Lindsay, for your next movie, I hope it's a good one. I hope it's better. We'll watch it, of course.
You don't have to make a huge comeback and like win an Oscar with it. That's just like a one big explosion. This is good, steady work and steady exposure.
She's living in Dubai, so obviously her life isn't sucking because she can
a new mom.
To live in Dubai.
She's married. She's got a kid now.
I saw her on the Drew Barrymore show like last week.
Mm-hmm. Well, they
promoted the
both,
movie
from troubled teen to troubled teen.
That's right.
Drew Barrymore was a troubled teen too.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore was in rehab, when she was like 11 or 12? She was in rehab.
Hit the microphone with my head, sorry.
Wow.
But yeah, it's so funny to realize that Drew Barrymore was like the Lindsay Lohan of her day, basically.
Yeah.
Now she's like a squeaky clean,
She's looking for a man, though. I'm
get
available.
in there, Kurt. She's hearing you. Get in there.
Yeah, she's a person I would date. Some of these,
I feel like you would have a shot with Drew.
I wouldn't. Yeah, some of these starlets I wouldn't. But whenever I see her talk about she wants a man, I'm thinking, I thought it would work.
I think because Drew is like her dating history. She's got a pretty varied roster of types of guys. So I think she's open to new, she's open to whatever.
And she'd like hang out with us.
She absolutely would.
Get her on the show.
She's a good revolver.
Oh, that's right. She did.
Yeah.
And she used to hike at Runyon Canyon.
Yeah.
Get her on the show, and I'll and then make me look good. Be like
so I had this friend who
wing
lived
people.
like with one of her neighbors, and
Yeah.
he'd have parties all the time. And this is back when she was dating the guy from Entourage, Kevin something.
Oh.
Wasn't he on Entourage? His name was Kevin something.
Oh,
Turtle?
Kevin Dillon?
Not
No.
Turtle. No, she wasn't dating Turtle.
Kevin
Well, she
Dillon.
wasn't with Kevin Dillon.
Or
No.
wait, no. Wait, the guy was either Kevin or
What's the
Justin.
guy?
His name is Justin. I think.
Well, Justin Long wasn't on Entourage, but she dated Justin
Okay,
Long.
I think it was Justin.
He was
Long.
the Mac guy from the commercials.
I knew he was from, but it was around the time that Entourage was pop.
But she's not. Yeah.
But she would go to my friends' parties and just like hang out.
Yeah.
She was married to Tom Green.
Yeah, she was married to
Yeah.
Tom Green.
She's only a couple years younger than me.
Yeah, she's age appropriate.
Yeah.
This is looking good. All right, we got to
Yes.
get her on the show, and
You're a property owner. You can
be my
you're
wingman.
in there,
see, that's the kind of stuff you have to say when she's on. You know, Kurt's a property owner.
right?
Oh, all right. I bet she. I bet
Anyway.
she say yes. I bet she say yes. Right.
Anyway, well,
No,
audience,
listen.
while you're working on that and getting Kurt and Drew hooked up, if you want to get a hold of me, or if you have any like intel or ways to get Kurt hooked up, you can get a hold of me on Instagram at Kirkendall, KURKENDAAL, or on my website, leskirkendallbarrett.com. Jason.
Please rate and review us wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us 5 stars. Talk about how much you love Imperial Margarine. It helps more people find the show. You can find all of us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
Drew Barrymore hyphen Fitzpatrick. Kurt Fitzpatrick hyphen Barrymore. I'm on the Shelf Shedding Movie Podcast. There's about 5.5 hours that you can listen to where we talk about, you don't have to listen to it all at once. Let's say you're going on a really long road trip, like to the end of the ocean, to the end of the earth.
And no stopping for food.
You eat while you're driving. And you can listen to the podcast while it's going on. No, we do love the Shelf Shedding Movie Podcast. And I'm on, so we talk about all the Oscar people. I know the Oscars are over, but you want to relive the experience. And we talk about the actor, actress, and supporting, and the director, and the movie, and it all goes on. So that's what's going on right now. And I'm going to be in Green Bay, Wisconsin, doing my show. Doing the very first Green Bay Fringe Festival in July of 2024, with my show, The Jester of All Maladies. I'll be doing 3 shows. So look out for info on that.
So first of all, Jason Dubray, I think you should have a shelf shedding show, a Drew Barrymore themed shelf shedding show with Kurt Fitzpatrick, and get the word out so that Drew could guest on the show and you could set them up. So that's first. Secondly, last week I was a guest on a podcast as well. I was a guest on the Mocha Minutes podcast, where I talked about the reunion, all parts 1, 2, and 3 of the Real Housewives of Miami reunion. So listen to that podcast, Mocha Minutes, hosted by my friend Stephanie Williams. And you know what? I think that's it for now. I really do want to get this going on Drew Barrymore, though. I think Drew and Kurt would be a good match. And with that, that's all I got to say for today. So, bye.
Bye.
Bye.